G4S, South Africa therefore respectfully request that the committee summons G4S, in particular the author of this letter and Ms. Joseph Munyate and Gert Beveld, to attend the portfolio committee after the Easter recess in order to allow G4S sufficient time to prepare. We look forward to hearing from the portfolio committee at its earliest convenience. That was the letter that we received yesterday, which says that they would want to be summoned. They received invitation to come and attend last week. They elected to respond yesterday after lunch. That is when I saw the letter. I thought that I must bring this to your attention, honorable member, so that the committee responds appropriately to this matter, and the committee guides as to what needs to be done. Because in terms of our sequencing of presentations, we thought that G4S will be the first to present, followed by DCS, led by the Minister and Deputy Minister. They would be followed by GIGS, and then the South African Police Services, led by Deputy Minister Matali. Now, in the light of this letter from the G4S, let's first discuss what needs to be done. Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, let me first of all express my thanks to everybody who's here today. A lot of people clearly made a big effort to prepare and to be here, so thank you for coming. I found it difficult to contain my outrage at this set of circumstances, for a start, that this kind of thing can happen. And that a year later, there seems to be little or no progress in sorting it out. But that aside, I am absolutely outraged that G4S can send us a letter such as the one you have just read out. They were in control of a private prison facility. They had responsibilities not only to the inmates, but to society at large. They had responsibilities to the victims of the people incarcerated there. And they thumbed their nose at a committee of parliament, a portfolio committee of parliament, to which they should account, and which has oversight over them, and asks, no, they're not asking, they're demanding to be summoned here in order to obtain some sort of flimsy protection. For what? It's very clear that they have something to hide. If they had nothing to hide, they would have been here. And the absolute contempt with which they have operated, it leaves me so outraged that I have a lot of trouble containing it. This is an important matter. It has seized the public's imagination, and for good reason. It took an independent publication to bring it to the attention of the public. Again, investigative journalists doing the job that the state should have done. And having done that, the victims of this person are out there with no protection and were never informed that he had escaped. And they left defenseless. Again, these are not victims of flimsy crimes, they're victims of rape. The most harrowing thing there is. And the person that they testified against and put in prison is out there, and they were not even informed. They have no form of protection. It leaves me feeling totally, totally outraged. And I would suggest, Chair, that we consider very, very seriously as a committee not proceeding today. It makes very little sense to me, and it makes almost a mockery of this procedure to proceed with this inquiry that we've started on without G4S being present. It's comparable to calling the accused last in a criminal case and giving him all the opportunity to hear the evidence against him so that he can fabricate answers and defenses before he has to give evidence. I really think it's very important that whatever questions we have as members, we start off with G4S and then work our way down the chain. And if we do this today and we give them the opportunity, they want to come after Easter, they have the temerity to suggest that they'll be available after Easter. And give them the opportunity to hear all the questions and answers today and then go away and prepare over the course of a week. It will make this a mockery of this process, and it will render this committee's efforts a nullity. So my serious request is, Chair, that we do not proceed today. And we summons G4S as they've asked, and then we begin our proceedings with G4S. Otherwise, quite frankly, we're making a mockery of ourselves. And we're allowing ourselves to be dictated to, which this committee should never do, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Swart, Honorable Ramulubeng, Honorable Jale, in that order.
Well, firstly, Chair, I do want to thank everyone for being here. We have got a room full of very eminent and very busy people. From we as a portfolio committee, from a former Constitutional Court judge, from a Minister of Justice, Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Deputy Minister of Police, 2 commissioners, a Commissioner of SAPS and a Commissioner of Correctional Services. And I want to express our outrage again, as Honourable Breitenbach has, that G4S decides not to come to this meeting. If all these eminent gentlemen with very busy schedules were able to be here today, how dare they say that they're not attending today? And what do they have to hide? Chair, I also believe that by that letter that they've sent you, where they talk about being bound by some contractual arrangements and some protection, what about the women? What about the women, the rape survivors that were totally unaware that Bester was out? What if they had have seen them? Seen him? What would they have thought? They were never even advised of this. So, Chair, I share my colleagues' sentiments totally, a sense of outrage, and we as Parliament need to exercise our oversight efficiently. And it's regrettable that they are not here. At our request to be here, now they request to be summoned. Well, we will summons them. But we want to send a message very clearly that we are resolute and determined to get to the bottom of this. No matter how long it takes. This is the beginning of a deep look into what went on. And so, Chair, I want to align ourselves with Honourable Breitenbach to say possibly this meeting or parts thereof should be postponed to enable G4S to come and be the first to present as to what happened. And if they want to rely on some privilege in terms of the Privilege Act, let it be so. But as I said, we are going to get to the bottom of this, and they're going to respond to our questions no matter what. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Swart. Honorable Ramulubeng.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning. Chair, mine, it's a clarity since we got in, I'm not sure, apart from those who we might know, I don't know who we're sitting with in the meeting. That's one. I thought we'll do that formal introduction thing. And 2, Chair, I'm getting a sense on an intel that we might have G4S lawyers present with us. And if we do get a status or clarity, basing it with the letter that they would have written to us, if it is indeed we are having G4S lawyers present with us. have a representation taking part of a meeting whilst they're saying they require to be summoned. That clarity, Chair. Then I'll come after that. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Jale.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, and good morning to everybody. Chair, I think the colleagues have already echoed as to how important this matter is and how serious the matter is. I think as a woman, as I'm sitting here, Chair, I think I just want to put myself in the position of those women, those were victim of this gentleman. In actual fact, I've got mixed feelings in terms of, I don't know whether I'm angry or I'm scared. The issue is that being a woman, having such a person outside there where we don't even know what is happening, I think he should have been maybe thought that this day will come, Chair. And I'm thinking, I wonder what is happening in his mind, because he's a dangerous man. So I think this committee, we really have to take this issue very serious, as we are doing right now. And I'm happy, Chair, and I'm also appreciative the fact that even the department has taken this matter, all the departments has taken this matter so serious that they decided, as my colleague has alluded, that they are here, even the minister himself and the team, all ministers, even from the police side. I think, Chair, them being here, it is that it's not that much going to assist us at this moment where we are, because the G4S were the people who were responsible on site, and they are the ones who are having information now, Chair, where they are. I think they have shown a disrespect to the committee and to the public, Chair, by not honoring this. Much as I understand that maybe they have their own rights, as they allude that they need to be summoned. But I think the rights of the women that are right now outside there, being victim of his own works and or own action, must be weighed more than the rights of this institution. Chair, I think I would agree with my colleagues. There is no way that we can continue with this meeting without G4S starting giving us information, because where I am, Chair, I think the department, even correctional services, everybody, we are awaiting to hear from them first before, because whatever question that they're going to give us the presentations, and we are going to want to ask questions. Some of the questions that we would want them to respond to, they might tell us that Jigs is in the position to answer that. So allowing the departments to make their own presentation at this moment, it's too early, Chair. We are going to get to the bottom of this issue. And hurrying it in that manner, it can expose us to the public as if we really don't care, especially to those women outside the Chair. I would request that, Chair, with due respect to the stakeholders, that we really postpone this meeting until G4S come. They must be the first one to tell us what happened, so that what the department will give us, would have made a conclusion as to exactly what happened. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are representatives or legal representative of G4S here with us today?
I hope I'm visible and audible. Perhaps let me move to the side so you can see me. My name is Ben Winks. I'm an advocate from Johannesburg. I'm instructed by Weber Wenzel attorneys on the instructions of G4S Correction Services. I have a fairly limited mandate. Obviously, I can't make any presentation as to what happened in May 2022. But to explain the position that G4S has taken, and to explain up front that G4S certainly hasn't meant any disrespect to this committee. G4S didn't, firstly, directly receive any invitation, but incidentally on Saturday heard from BCC, who was invited, that this meeting was to take place. But G4S didn't directly receive any invitation. And wasn't aware that any presentation would be required from it. Now, G4S is very keen to assist this committee, but my mandate is to explain why precisely it's unable to do so without a summons. Now, the members and chairperson, honorable chairperson and members would be aware that Section 111 of the Correctional Services Act contains certain statutory confidentiality obligations for contractors and subcontractors that can't simply be waived by the contractor itself. It also has contractual confidentiality obligations to DCS under the agreements under the private-public partnership, and contractual confidentiality obligations to the employees concerned. Now, it's only by virtue of Section 22 of the Parliamentary Privileges and Immunities Act that a witness can be immunized from its liability for breach of contract or any other kind of liability in response to a summons. And that's why, as it's been explained as quickly as possible in the letter yesterday, and certainly without any intention of causing disrespect, that G4S has requested to be summoned so that it can make the appropriate witnesses and the appropriate documents available as quickly as possible. But it will need to have a summons in order to be released from its statutory and confidentiality and contractual confidentiality restraints. As I've said, I have a very limited mandate, but I am happy to explain further if you need elaboration on the position G4S is in.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Chair.
Are you the only one from G4S?
That's correct, and my attorney from Weber Wenzel, Mr. Isaac Margele.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Breitenbach.
Thanks, Chair. If that's the only concern that G4S has, then I assume if we can get a summons organised today, they'll be available tomorrow. Everyone's here. I'm sure they'll be happy to stay in the lovely Cape Town overnight, and we can get on with this thing, if that's genuinely their position.
Thank you, Honorable Ramulubeng and Honorable Khoza. Am I correct? Am I correct? Thank you very much. Sure.
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to know what, you see, the reason I got shocked that we have representation from the G4S in a meeting, that they would have written a letter that says they require to be summoned for them to come here, as he would have explained, Chair. And then it brings me to a thinking that, are they here to clarify us on the letter they've written to us saying they require to be summoned? Or if we did not get a sense that they're here, will they be willingly disclose themselves to all of us that they're here? And what was the basis for them to come here, actually? Because they would have said, they're not coming. Then you are not coming, you want to be summoned, but you send legal representation. What is it? Is there something that G4S is hiding from us? that we require to know, that we require to go to an extent of summoning them to come here. We understand all those contractual things that they would have made an indication of, Chair. I just want to understand, is G4S admitting that there was a breach of contract between them and DCS? That's why they seek immunity from this whole process. Just a clarity from the legal representation, Chair. And if that's the case, then we take it from there, because I share the very sentiments of Honorable Swart and Glennis, that we are sitting with a crisis. The Thabo Bester issue is a serious crisis, Chair.
Honorable Komoso, you want me to be Honorable Khatebe now? I will to say that please address the member accordingly.
My apologies, Chair. My colleagues, I allude to my colleagues' sentiments, Chair. We're sitting with a national crisis. The escape of Thabo Bester has not only would have angered society, it has angered a lot women. Women are unsafe out there. A rapist is out in the loop. And we have no idea that is still in the country with the alleged legal wife. So we cannot then have a situation where we require all stakeholders involved in this matter to come and give a sense to society, where are we, what is happening, what led to this. And G4S wants to hold us at ransom in that process. In actual fact, it wants us to play at their, at their own terms. It's not correct. It can be, especially when there is a situation and a crisis at hand. We equally seek answers. So you are saying, I am willing to give you answers, but those are the terms and conditions in you getting it. To me, it's I wanted to use a particular language, but I'll refrain from it. For me, it makes no sense, Chair. Hence, I said, what is the basis of them coming here if they require to be summoned by us? Thanks.
Very much, Honorable Koza.
Greetings, Chairperson, committee members, and officials present. My colleague here next to me has covered me to a certain extent. But, Chair, I find it very concerning that G4S writes a letter to say they are not available. Someone else will see you after the Easter weekend. They then turn around and send someone here to come and sit here and listen as to what we are going to be saying. We are being played here. You can't tell us that you are unable to come. You then send you. Why didn't they write it in this letter to say that they will be sending their legal representatives to come and eavesdrop here and hear what we are about? Chair, this matter is a matter of national importance. It's a very sensitive matter. It's not a matter to be played with. In actual fact, G4S is contracted to the department. The department was supposed to deliver them here. We can't be disrespected like that to say now they must get immunity from responsibility, to quote his own words. Why would you say, I want to be immunized, I need immunity from responsibility, when you know you've done nothing wrong? You would have come here, put your cards on the table and explain yourself. Everything else will take it from there, but you want to be immunized. You want to guarantee that there will be no consequences to what you disclose or you say. It's very disingenuous, and we're very concerned about that behavior. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Koza. Honorable Breitenbach, followed by Honorable Swart, in that order.
Thank you, Chair. It occurs to me that if the only thing G4S is concerned about is their contractual relationship and their and the fact that they're bound thereby with some sort of silence pact, then the National Commissioner of Correctional Services is here today. He can release them immediately from that obligation, and they can come and participate freely. And I would urge them to do so. Their lawyers are already here. All they have to do is hop on a plane. We can wait a while for them.
I'm covered, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Swart.
No, Chair, I'm covered, but the only thing that I wanted to know here, I think we've written this letter. It has been a week. And they decided to respond yesterday. And they knew that we were not going to have an opportunity to respond or whatever. So I don't really take them serious. I don't take their representatives. Oh, I agree with Honorable Ramulubedi. What are the lawyers wanting? What do they want here right now? Because we are on our own. The G4S did not want to come. They wrote a letter. So what is their business representatives here, Chair? Thank you.
I think, members, we will take G4S head on when they come, but I don't see us taking, in fact, taking it further than this. I don't think that the response from their lawyers would make us any less angrier than we are. I don't think so. But what is clear is that we would need to summon them, because quite clear they were invited, and everybody here is invited through the ministry, and the ministry will send that to the National Commissioner. They were properly invited. They elected not to do so. Accountability to Parliament is not optional. That is what they must know. And we thought that we are going to have an open, honest discussion about what has happened. All stakeholders are here, except them. But let's do things properly. Let's have the Speaker summoning them through the Secretary of Parliament. We are available anytime from tomorrow until Wednesday. So it should not take any longer. South Africans are waiting for explanations. Women of our country are expecting explanations. They want to be assured that this issue is being looked at very seriously. It's unfortunate that when people have to account, they look for technical loopholes and legal routes, because it's quite clear that instead of just coming with the information, G4X is looking for all legal routes possible. But what is clear, I think the resolution of this meeting is that we can't proceed without them, and the Speaker will need to be contacted today to issue summons, and we will communicate with all the stakeholders, and we would like to, okay, before we conclude, Minister Lamola.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I also share the sentiments of the committee that this is a very serious matter. And as honorable members are aware, Parliament is in recess now. We ourselves also had to sacrifice to come here. We also had to take out of our commitments for today. I was supposed to be having a meeting. Today I have a meeting with the President. It was my allocated date in terms of our MTSF targets for all ministers that the President is meeting individually since the beginning of the week. And today is the date of the security cluster. So the President agreed that we could meet him later in the evening, in particular myself, at 8. So I am also very disappointed that we could not be able to proceed, but we want to assure the committee of our commitment to come at any day that you will summon us, because we believe that it is in the public interest that the public knows what we knew, what happened, and what is going on in terms of capturing the fugitive that has escaped from our facility. So as soon as you summon us, we commit that we will definitely return and account to the nation. The only dilemma we also have, Chair, which maybe I suspect from reading from the inspecting judge, is that we, on a daily basis, receive media inquiries to respond to. What did we know and so forth. And we had thought that us accounting into this house will also help to clarify the media, but it will also free us to also comment and so forth. But we are hopeful that you will soon invite us so that we are also free to comment, because we also don't want to look like we're disrespecting the committee when we are now seen only dealing with the media inquiries, responding, and not coming to the house. So we commit that we will definitely come back on whatever date that you summon us to come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. No, you will not be summoned.
Wanted that clarity, Chair. Is it an invite? Does the minister want a summons or not? So,
No, you are. This side is very cooperative. You will not be summoned. We have a clear candidate for summons. I think that was Honorable Deputy Minister.
Yeah, good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members, Minister, Deputy Minister, Commissioners, and everybody here. Obviously, what I'm going to raise has not been canvassed with the Minister. I understand the outrage that has been expressed. I think almost everybody, except maybe the legal representatives of G4S, are annoyed by what is being done by G4S. It's holding everybody in contempt. Bayadelela in my language. They look down upon us. Now, everything that is about Bester is out there in the public domain. I would imagine that even the presentations that have been prepared are already known to the media. And there's nothing to be hidden, at least on our part, from the public. Because here we are meeting in the name of the public, in the presence of the public. So I'm just wondering, what is it that, what prejudice is anyone going to suffer by us making these presentations that have been, I believe, so meticulously prepared by the people here? What harm are we suffering in sharing with the Portfolio Committee the information that we have? And then you call on G4S at an appropriate time and get them to account. I know that the preferred approach would be to sequence the presentations in a manner that is going to put G4S in the spot, because they are the people who are supposed to be giving us information about what happened. We have all interacted with G4S, the department, both departments, I'm sure, GIGS and everybody else. So we know what they want to say, we know what they don't want to say in our interaction with them. So I'm just wondering aloud as to what is it that we're going to suffer. I'm thinking of the cost of all of us coming down here, money-wise, and also the work, the responsibilities, the commitments that we had to carry out, were it not for us having to come here. Now, if we're going to take another day to be here again for the same thing, I think from another angle, the public might not take kindly to the wastage that has been occasioned by a criminal and his supporters for us to be here. As I said, I didn't canvass this with anyone, but I would be happy to hear indeed as to what it is that, what prejudice is anyone going to suffer if we make these presentations and account as we are supposed to the committee.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. Minister Lamula.
Yeah, Chair, will be guided by the committee. We are ready for, if you say we proceed, we will proceed. If you adjourn, we will come back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Engelbrecht.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honourable Minister and Honourable Deputy Minister, it is not about the contents of your presentations. It is about the contents and the line of my questions that I don't want G4S to have before them, before we ask them, because we know what is going to happen if they are the last ones that come. It is critically important for the credibility of this process that G4S, who is the main role player, appears first. And then, from whatever they answer to my colleagues' questions, we will then be in a better position to pose questions to yourself, to the National Commissioner and other role players. So I must insist that we want to question G4S first, before anyone else.
Thank you, Honorable Engelbrecht. Honorable Swart.
Yes, Chair, I fully appreciate what the Deputy Minister says, and it is regrettable. Advocate Winks says he has a very limited mandate, but I would think it's probable that he also has a watching brief to attend today's sit-in and to ascertain our lines of questioning. And yes, you make the correct point that a lot of the information is in the public domain, but I would think that that could be, as we've seen with other parliamentary sit-ins, where lawyers are involved. Often it is on the basis of a watching brief to ascertain what is exactly said and to enable their client then to prepare in advance. And for that reason, we would like G4S to be the first to present. Thank you, Chair.
We all covered, members. Have we sufficiently covered the issue of prejudice? Honorable Khoza.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with the previous colleagues. To proceed with the presentations would be putting the cart before the horse, and it will create a problem for us. Let them come here. Once they're summoned, they can bring their lawyers too, so that their lawyers are properly invited here, not this ambush that they've subjected us to.
Honorable Khoza. Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So I would just mention that it may have been more palatable if the legal representation of G4S had identified themselves prior to the meeting starting, then this animosity may not have existed. I would have thought it would be the proper thing to do, to say, hello, we're here, and this is why we're here, not hide in the back there. However, to address further the point raised by the Honourable Deputy Minister, Chair, I believe that our process here will be prejudiced if we proceed without G4S being present. I believe that, again, it's tantamount to calling the most important person in the process last, and gives them all the opportunity to determine the direction that the wind is blowing and prepare accordingly. And that the effectiveness of this entire process that we're undertaking, which is in the public interest, which is why we're all here, is in the public's interest. We're all elected to represent the public and protect them. And I believe that will seriously prejudice what we have set out to do if we continue without G4S. I'm very mindful of the expenditure undertaken to be here today, but I believe that pales into insignificance when comparing it to what it is that we hope to achieve. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Breitenbach. Honorable Jada.
Thank you very much, Chair. I understand where the Minister is coming from in terms of the resources and time, Chair. I think we note that, but also, Chair, I think there are questions, as I said earlier, that we might want to know from G4s, and that the department, already the department story is out there. The minister had a briefing, so the public outside know exactly the line of and the content of the department, and also the presentations that we received earlier from the department. We already have the information from the side of the department. We want G4s to come now and present to us, so that when we get these presentations formally, so we're able to form one response, Chair, in line with it. But we note that, Deputy Minister, your consent. Thank you, Chair. But can we just continue and saying, let them come another day? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think we have canvassed issues, and the resolution of the committee is that one, G4S will be summoned to appear on the date that will be agreed upon between ourselves and the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the date will not be the one as determined by G4S. We will determine the date together with the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the date is it should be quite soon, because we want to conclude the matter as soon as possible. Two, we would like to take this opportunity to really say we are sorry to all the people who came to this meeting hoping to make presentations, and those who burned the candlelight the whole night preparing for the presentations. But we think that it is in the interest of finding the truth that we have to stick to the sequence as we had earlier agreed to, that G4S will be the one that must make its presentation and be engaged with that presentation first before we go to other presentations, because each presentation, once it is made, it is going to be thoroughly engaged with by the members of the committee, and then thereafter we will be able to write a report to the House with recommendations as to what do we think needs to be done. We will communicate with yourselves as when after we have engaged with the Speaker as to the next available date, which will be binding to everybody, including G4S. It will be binding to everybody, including G4S. No one has the option of telling Parliament which date suits them. As much as Parliament must act reasonably, but having taken everything into consideration, we will come up with a date, and we expect G4S to abide by that particular date. Judge Cameron, Minister Lamola, Deputy Minister Ngulumisa, Deputy Minister Matale, National Commissioners, and everybody in the room. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.